Hi, I'm Tiffany Oshinsky, and this is Serving Pancakes with League One Volleyball. The inaugural Love season is finally here. Each episode will be going over the matches from the week to keep you up to date on everything League One Volleyball. Then stick around after the analysis for interviews with some amazing people in and around the sport. Today's episode features recent Wisconsin grad, Madison outside hitter Sarah Franklin, and Love founding athlete and Austin middle blocker, Chiaka Ogbogu. But before we chat with them, I'm so excited to share that Love Austin opposite hitter Khat Bell is here co-hosting Serving Pancakes with me. Khat, welcome back to Serving Pancakes.
Thanks for having me back. I'm so excited about this opportunity. I'm stoked about it.
I'm so excited that you are going to be joining me, and we're going to be recapping games, talking analysis, dishing out information about the game and the players so that everyone can get to know League One Volleyball better and you ladies better.
Exactly.
So let's actually start, because it's week 2.
Yes.
And let's start with your team, Love Austin, because you guys had your first serve, as did Love Madison. But we're going to start with Wednesday's match, which was you guys, Austin, hosting Love Atlanta, with Atlanta winning in 4 competitive sets, 18-25, 25-23, 26-24, 25-21. So what did Atlanta have that night to pull out the win against you guys?
Like throwing salt in the wound, you know, just throwing salt in there.
I'm sorry, but we got to talk about it.
Exactly, you know, get it off my chest. No, honestly, Atlanta's an amazing team. I think Kelsey Cook is obviously a phenomenal athlete. Like, she's on the national team, and just being able to see her live in action is just great. So Atlanta came out really hot and heavy against us. You know, I think there was kind of a big judgment as far as like us versus Atlanta. I think we were obviously expected to win, but Atlanta came in and just really went to town in our town, which is sad to say.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose their first match of the season against Salt Lake.
Yes.
But this match, they made a bit of a change. They put in Rachel Fairbanks, who led Pitt to 4 straight NCAA semifinals before joining Love. She was just, you know, a college student a few weeks ago. And she finished the match with 43 assists, 11 digs, a kill, and a block. So what did you see when it came to this connection between Fairbanks and her hitters?
You know, it was a depth sub, and I think that's one thing that Love offers in this league is that we have so many opportunities to make changes and make switches, and I think right now all teams are kind of leaning towards that depth sub. We have so many great athletes on each team, and to be able to put everyone out there on the floor and do some really big damage against competitors is a big thing. So when they made a depth sub and they brought in Tess, who was their opposite, and bringing in the college kid from as their setter, it was definitely a round of applause. You know, I think her and Tess's connection was amazing. Tess was unbelievably unstoppable, you know, and then obviously you have Kelsey coming in and doing what she does on a daily basis. So it was very hard to put up big blocks against them and a defense around them as well.
Now you guys get to play Omaha in week 3. So what does Austin need to do to prepare for that match?
We got to do a lot. We have to do, you know, Omaha they're undefeated right now, and they have just made such a huge wave coming into Love. Obviously, you have Jordan Larson, who is the governor. They have this amazing German opposite, Kimberly. She is just a force to be reckoned with. And I think as being on the Austin Love team, you know, blocking and defense is going to be a very big thing for us. You know, setting up a good block versus their slide hitter, who's also a middle blocker, playing opposite, again, with that dub sub. And Gabby, who's a player I got to play against and with while I was in AU, was also an amazing offensive setter from Penn State. And, you know, for us, it's all about communication, serving well, and trying to get them off balance a little bit.
Love it. All right. Well, the next match was on Friday. We saw another hard-fought battle between Love Salt Lake and Love Madison, with Madison winning in 5 sets, 24-26, 25-19, 19-25, 25-16, 13-15. It was Madison's first serve. Do you think being in Madison, in Wisconsin, that helped fuel that comeback a bit?
Of course. I think having a big environment, a big, loud environment cheering you on, and having a big, large fan base to help you elongate your game is a great way to use that momentum. You know, having everyone in the gym yelling, screaming your name is a great way to try to win a match. And I think that's part of the plan, I think, for any team going to have a home game, to use that as a momentum changer.
Now, last week, you guys actually swept Madison. So what differences did you see them implement in this match?
Honestly, everyone's getting good. I think the repetition is coming in across the board for everybody. The hitters connecting well with their setters. Madison is a different team. You know, Annie Drews is also amazing opposite hitter, but to be able to have someone come in and back you up and also do damage is an amazing team. You know, Claire Chaussee had a chance to play against her in another previous league with volleyball, and she is just another force to be reckoned with. Claire is just so balanced. She's a great passer. She's a great server. She has an amazing, strong tip. So they're definitely a different team than what we saw versus in Houston.
Now, this match also was like an absolute defensive battle, and
100%.
one of my favorite liberos to watch in the league, and I'm not saying it just because I was a libero back in the day, but Manami Kojima, she's just absolutely insane. She's so good and fun to watch. She, you know, both sides, I should say, had sick digs, but Kojima was just kind of like unstoppable. So as a hitter, how do you get past someone like that?
May Nami, that's my girl. I love Miss May Nami. Like, I also had a chance to play with her and against her, and she is just an amazing libero. Like, she's like a ghost. Like, you can think she's on the court, and maybe you don't think she's in a different position, and she's going to be there to dig the ball. Just trying to find any type of shot against her is very, very difficult. So I think she did a really good job holding down the fort for Salt Lake as much as she could.
All right, now for Saturday's doubleheader. First up was Love Houston defeating Love Salt Lake in 4 sets. 25-9, 25-16, 25-27, 25-12. So first off, wow, 25-9 is just crazy. 25-12, 25-16. I mean, they outscored Salt Lake by 36 points. It was 100-64. What about them made them so dominant?
Micah is the glue, man. Like, Micah, I think she had 4 aces in the first set to get the game going. And yeah, she was just ripping them. And I think also, like I said, everyone's finding that connection. JT is starting to find her rhythm on the opposite side right now with Micah, and they're finding a flow, as well as like the other college kid that came in too. She is also amazing. So I think everyone's just trying to find the rhythm together right now. And I think Houston is also going to be a force to be, again, reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, so Jess Merzek is the college player that you're talking about from Penn State. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But before, I want to ask you about her. But before I do, Micah Hancock, let's talk about her because, so the match started with 4 consecutive aces from Micah Hancock, and she eventually was named player of the match. Now, Austin played Houston in week 1, so you got to play against her. And I know that you know her from previously, but like me, watching on TV and watching those jump serves, I just like, how do you attempt to dig that? So, but what is it actually like to be on the court with that ball coming at you?
That ball is coming very fast. You just side spin on it. It floats a little bit. Obviously, when Mike is serving from the court, the trajectory of the ball is going cross court, but it almost dives back towards the line. So it's all about, honestly, what I would say to anyone is just stand there and put your platform out. If you try to make any kind of motion or movement, the ball is gone into the stands and into the rafters. So being able to witness that serve live coming at you, it is scary. Very scary.
I can only imagine.
Very scary.
Well, now let's talk about Jess Merzek, outside a hitter for Houston. She just got the NCAA championship title for Penn State a few weeks ago, and now she is here playing with Love Houston. What makes her so deadly, and what does she do in these matches that just makes her so dominant?
You know, Jess, she has so much experience, it almost seems like. You know, she's very crafty. Her ball control is really good. She just brings a certain maturity about her game that I think most college players don't really quite have yet. So I think her able being in the gym with Maddie Kingdon and Rochelle is also like a great experience for her to be opportunity for her to have as well. So she's lethal. She's very calm. I think one thing about her, and I watch her serving, is that like she does the same thing every single time. And if you have a great like routine as far as like what you're doing, making the same platform for passing, the same arm swing, depending on even if you're going cross court down the line, even from serving, I think having a great routine also makes you a better volleyball player. So I think her routine and what she does and sticking to what she knows is definitely making her do what she's doing right now in the league and as well as she was doing in college.
All right, and the final match of the week, which almost kind of felt like the match of the week because it was Omaha versus Madison.
That was
Nebraska
the game.
Versus Wisconsin. I mean, come on.
That was the game.
That was the game. And Omaha ended up winning it in 4 sets, 20-25, 26-24, 25-15, 25-15. It was pretty tight, those first 2 sets with Madison. But then Omaha put on a show, basically, for the last 2, 25-15, both of those sets. So what did they do in that 3rd and 4th set to change the game?
I think in the first set, Omaha was starting off a little bit slow. I think they started getting Kimberly kind of found, she's the German opposite. She kind of found her rhythm towards the end. I was in the middle, towards the end of the first set. And once you got her going, it was just insane what she was doing. I think they kind of just set the course. Once they caught the rhythm and their flow, their libero was doing an amazing job covering a lot of ground, that kind of stuff. So I think it was the main thing was just connection and rhythm and flow. And once they had that, it was it. That was it.
Now, opposite Lauren Stivrins was named player of the match. She had 14 kills with no errors in 20 attacks to hit 700. Stivrins has never played opposite before this season. So, I mean, you play opposite. Like, what is that transition like, and how has she made this such a successful move for her?
I think it's a great thing to do. I also made the same transition. I was the middle at one time in college, and then Jarrett moved me to the opposite side because I was really good off of 1 foot as well as 2 feet. And I think being able to come into that part of your game early right now and be able to transition from a middle to a pin and to an opposite pin and be able to have those two kind of tools in your belt is a great thing to have in this league for sure. But her transition so far is amazing. I think she puts up a really good disciplined block, and it's a wall when you're going that for position 4. So I think it's going to be a great move for her.
Now, Omaha is the only undefeated team left in League One Volleyball. What is the key to beating them?
The key. That's a lot. There's a lot of keys. I mean, there's not too many keys, I should probably say. Honestly, with a team like Omaha, who's so dynamic and they have so many variations of players, I think it's important just to really focus on what you're doing on your side as a collective team and what you're doing against them. If you get an opportunity of a free ball, and which a lot of free balls, they're not giving a lot back to the competing team, but if you get an opportunity, you have to seize the moment. I think it's really important. So I think when you're playing against a team that's so diverse and is running a great offense, and they have a great captain, and they have a great flow and structure and communication as a team, it's very important to obviously rely more on what you're doing on your side. Those opportunities that you have to take very big risks and very good chances of the things that you have to do as far as like going against them.
All right. Well, now that we've gone over all the matches, we're going to talk about the players of the game.
Okay.
So we might have a little debate here. We're going to see if you agree with who was chosen as the player of the game, or if you thought that there maybe was somebody else who deserves a little more recognition. So let's start with Atlanta. Outside hitter Kelsey Cook, as we mentioned, earned the honors thanks to her 15 kills, 10 digs, and 2 aces. Do you agree, or did anyone else stand out to you that you want to give a shout out to?
I think Kelsey is a very great player and someone to obviously a great pick as well. She holds also. I think Kelsey's a big glue for their team as well. Kelsey's going to be Kelsey day in and day out. I don't think there's. I mean, I'm not trying to like put bad juju on her, but like she's going to have some really, really great days very, very frequently. So I think it's hard for Kelsey not to be less than what she is. But I think when they make the dev sub, Tess coming in and just doing what she does and doing what she need to do for her team was definitely a game changer. I think our block versus Tess was very unpredictable. We couldn't figure out how to slow her down at all. And I think Tess was definitely close second runner-up for having to be player of the match for sure.
Yeah, she had 17 kills, 19 points in total, an ace, a block, and 7 digs. So she definitely stepped up.
Yeah, Tess put on for the city. Yeah, she put on for the city.
I also want to just give a shout out to Tia Jimerson because, she's from Atlanta. And the first week when they had their first serve, it was just awesome to see her like show up and like all the Atlanta youth cheering her on. And I feel like, she had 15 points against you guys. And I feel like she's just fun to watch. And I feel like she's someone to look out for. I'm not necessarily going to take over Kelsey or Tessa in this player of the game, but I just want to give her a little shout out.
Shout out to T. We're counting out, girl.
That's right. All right. Salt Lake versus Madison. Outside hitter Claire Chaussee had 18 points from 18 kills. She also had 10 digs. Do you concur, or do you have another candidate?
I'm going to say Chaussee. Like, Claire is... I love Claire. Like I said, I had a chance to play against her this past year, and, like, she's amazing. She's great. She's going to do what she does as well. I think Claire has a very good game as far as, like, staying calm and being resilient, and in tough moments, just going for what she knows, and she's trying to get that point. So I love her aggressiveness and her as a player. I think she is very well deserved.
I am actually going to choose Lauren Carlini as my player of the game. I thought, obviously, like, Chaussee played amazing, but Lauren Carlini, her stats, so she had 55 assists, an ace, 2 blocks, and 20 digs.
Okay,
and
wow.
Watching her on some of the plays, like, there were some insane cross-court hits that she would just, like, pick up. There was one rally, unfortunately, they lost the point, but she had 2 amazing digs that kept the rally going, and then I think it was Ronnie Perry-Jones hit the line shot right at her, and that was, like, the one that she missed. 3 times a charm, right? Yeah. But like, that match, watching her play, I'm like, oh my gosh, Lauren Carlini, this is why you made the Olympic team this year.
Yeah,
like,
of course, 100%. I would agree as well. Lauren I played against Lauren when I was in college, and she's amazing setter.
Yeah, and honorable mention for Kojima too, because again, she's like amazing.
Everywhere.
All right, next, Houston versus Salt Lake. Setter Micah Hancock had 40 assists, 12 digs, and 4 aces. Any other shout outs you want to give?
I'm sticking with Micah. I love Maddie Rochelle. It's one of my best friends. I love her too. And Maddie's going to put on for the city as well. But Micah definitely held it down for the 4. I think the same thing you were saying about Lauren Carlini for Madison, the same thing I'm saying for Micah Hancock for Houston. She also was doing what she's supposed to do as a setter and like dishing out the rock and finding out hitters on a good connection and just being the dog that she is.
Mm-hmm. And with those serves, I mean, my goodness.
The rockets that she's launching from her arm. The rockets.
Yes. I will also give an honorable mention to Jess Merzick again, because she's just insane. She had 22 points from 17 kills, an ace. She had 4 blocks, 12 digs, and 3 assists. So she got a
good
little,
volleyball. This is some really good volleyball.
Right? This is what I'm saying. There's so many people who I'm like, God,
it's
they
getting
could
better.
all. Right?
Yeah. People are finding their rhythms. People are finding their connections. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes, normally for me, like if I'm going abroad, I don't come into like my playing body until maybe like a month and a half, maybe 2 months coming into the season. And by then, you're in preseason for about a month and a half anyway. So by the time you're like finding like your stride, it's just only take off from there. So the volleyball is already getting better. It's going to keep obviously escalating as the time goes on. So
elevating. Sure. Well, speaking of elevating your game, Lauren Stiverins earned the honors of player of the match with Omaha versus Madison. We mentioned this, hitting percentage, 700, 14 kills, 2 blocks. What do you think? Is anybody else step up or?
I'm also applauding Lauren just because it is a hard transition, like her being able to play an opposite position, win that slide, and be so detrimental against the competition. She did great. But as great as she is, and as well as she played, I'm going with my German, Kimberly. Kimberly is that girl, been that girl, forever will be that girl. I've known Kim since I was playing against her in Turkey, and we have mutual friends, and she's literally the most kindest, sweetest, gentle soul ever. So Kim, once you got her rhythm in that first set, towards the end of that first set, she was unstoppable from the power attacks cross court to the push tips out of bounds. Like she was amazing.
Heart of gold, but she's a killer. 19 kills against against Madison there. That one is a toss-up for me because I felt the same. Like Lauren was amazing, Kimberly was amazing.
It's that dub sub. That dub sub is deep. It's deep.
Yeah, I'll say. All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be chatting with the 2023 and 2024 Big Ten Player of the Year and Love Madison outside hitter Sarah Franklin, as well as 2-time Olympic medalist and Love middle Chiaka Ogbogu. All right, we are back, and we have Love Madison's Sarah Franklin. Sarah is originally from Florida, but went to Michigan State University for her first foray into college volleyball before eventually joining the Wisconsin Badgers, where she played a huge role in leading the team to 3 national quarterfinal appearances. She was named the 2023 AVCA National Player of the Year, and she was also a 2023 SB Female Athlete of the Year nominee. To top it off, she's a 4-time All-American with both Wisconsin and Michigan State University, and she represented the USA as a member of the 2022 Collegiate National Team, where she competed in the 2024 NORCECA Women's Final 6 Pan American Cup and led the U.S. to a silver medal. And her first stint in professional volleyball is still in Wisconsin, playing for Love Madison. Sarah, welcome to Serving Pancakes.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. I know that Khat and you have played against each other, but you guys are kind of, getting to know each other in this league. What's it like so far for you being now a professional volleyball player in the United States?
It's been an absolute whirlwind. I mean, getting to play against some really high-level athletes, I think is just one of my favorite things. It definitely poses as a challenge, which is something that I absolutely love. So, getting to know the girls who have been playing professionally for, 5-10 years is something that's really cool. And I'm just like stoked to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, you guys had your first serve now in Madison, and watching it, the crowd was absolutely insane. Did it feel like you were at a Wisconsin Badgers game?
Oh, fully. The fans were like fighting between like red and blue, like in the stands. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I feel right at home.
I mean, Khat, did you feel the same way when you were in Austin watching?
Man, it was a really like a crazy situation. Almost like being back in Gary, back at home, So like having all the fans there and just seeing us witness like this first monumental moment was great for women's volleyball, I believe too. Also, Sarah, watching you the other night was phenomenal. Like you say, it's a bit of a change for you and a fast pace, but like you're taking it on with so much grace, and I'm really, really admiring you right now. Seriously.
I'm like geeking out right now too, because like all of you girls, like I've been watching at the professional side, so like to be a part of it is just like,
Dude, you're killing it. You're killing it.
thank you.
I mean, so Khat has had to play professionally overseas before, and
Mhm.
you get to go straight from college to
Mm-hmm.
staying here in the United States. I feel like you got some advantage that like Khat and those girls didn't get a chance to experience.
Big time, big time.
Yeah. What's it like, playing here with your family and stuff, being able to witness you in the pro league?
It's so nice. I mean, I have my parents right like at my apartment right now, and it's a dream come true, really. Because when I was younger, like I knew that I wanted to play in college, and I would have to play overseas because this wasn't a thing. Like this was not even like a thought. So to be able to have that, and to have my parents at my first like home professional game is just it's like no other. And I think talking with girls who have had to play overseas and it being a struggle with not having family close by just to support you. I know I'm very, very privileged in that aspect. And that's because of all the girls who have come before me who have played and done that and made this happen, which is just something that is beyond me. So I definitely got an easy route right into it straight from college.
And you also get to play with some Wisconsin Badgers greats. I mean, like, how cool is it to play with Lauren Carlini and all of them?
Absolute dream come true again. Like it is so fun just to know that I've watched her as a former Badger, and then I played with Temmie here as well, and even have Anne Marie on the coaching staff. It's been a seamless transition there. But me and Lauren play very similarly, very competitive, very fiery. So it's been a lot of fun to be on the court with her for sure.
That's really so awesome for you to hear. Like, I feel that way too, but like reverse, like it's almost like a full circle moment, be able to play with Molly and Chiaka. And like now I was able to witness like Logan and all them in college and they were on the same team together. Like
Hmm.
we also, as older players, feel the exact same way. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, in this first match, you had, in the final rally of the entire match, you had 3 hits. Eventually you got the final kill to end the match, 15-13. What was that like?
I mean, I kind of had a feeling that Lauren was gonna make that happen, and I was determined because the first hit I had a one-on-one, and I was like, all right, I'm blasting it, trying to hit that corner, but Salt Lake LOVB is fantastic, so she got it up, we got a free ball back, I got the next one, and they got a good swing off of that, and then after I was like, all right, I don't care, I'm going for high hands, I'm hitting this as hard as I possibly can. And to just have that moment again in the field house to get a big win, and just hearing the crowd erupt was, it's such a special feeling. Like even thinking about it right now, I'm getting so giddy.
It's funny because Manami Kojima, the libero for Salt Lake, is one of like my favorite players to watch.
She's insane.
Yeah, so insane. I mean, all respect to Justine and
Yeah.
Lexi Rodriguez, who I also love as libero. I was a libero, so like I'm all about the defense. But
Yes.
like watching Kojima, I'm like,
Hmm.
it's insane. What's it like hitting against her, trying to get a kill?
Oh my gosh, it's just so fun. Like I love a challenge. Like I love something that's gonna make me work for what I need. So in college I could hit those shots and they'd go down, but here it's like I hit those shots, I was like, oh, great shot, and then it's like an easy dig for her. I'm like, all right, like I see you. So I'm gonna try a little sharper, a little further. But it just makes it so much more fun. It's definitely frustrating for sure. Like I can definitely attest to that. But it just makes it so fun, and playing at such a high level in the United States and getting to share that with all of the Badger fans here in Madison is something that I'm very, very grateful for.
I think it's also, like you said, it's a great challenge for you to kind of like get your momentum going, and your game will change eventually. And as you adapt and stuff,
Hmm.
you notice that you're making better shots and better decisions. So it definitely is going to help your game in the long run for sure. As long as you're thinking
For
about
sure.
it like that, for sure.
Have you had a chance to take it all in since you finished at Wisconsin?
I feel like I've been back here for about 2 weeks, so I feel like it's finally settled in and I can get into a little bit of a more routine. But even when I'm warming up, when I'm playing, like I do have those like moments that I'm like, I'm getting paid to do this. Like I'm like, this is something that people are like investing in, which is something that's like really, really cool because I've wanted to play for as long as I possibly can, and to know that it'll be in the States when when I'm here and I can do that with my family is something that's just, again, it just gets me so giddy. Like just being a part of this is just, it's so amazing, really.
Actually, going back, I kind of want to go a little bit back to your roots because I always like to find the origin stories of you ladies. So,
Love
like,
a good story.
right?
Yes.
Love a good
Got
origin
it.
Love a
Gotta
story.
good
give them
story.
stories.
Right? So, how did you actually get into volleyball? When did it all begin?
So I was about 11 years old. I was a soccer player at heart. I
Mm.
absolutely loved playing soccer. I'm from Florida, so outside in the sun, all that was great. Both my parents played volleyball, and I was a goalie in soccer, so I liked using my hands. And my mom was like, "Hey, like you should try volleyball." And I told her word for word, "I'm not a volleyball player, Mom. I'm a soccer player." And I refused for the longest time, refused to try volleyball. But finally, she got me into a volleyball camp, and on the first day after we had finished camp, I went up to my mom and I was like, "This is so fun. Like, I absolutely love this." And from there, like, you couldn't take me out of the gym. Like, I fell in love and have played it since. But it took me a little convincing to get there, but eventually I got it.
Your first route was like your first choice was Michigan State when you went to college. What was the impetus for that, and then eventually switching to Wisconsin?
Yeah, so I wasn't as highly recruited as most people would have thought of me in high school. So my top two choices were Illinois and Michigan State, and I knew I wanted to be in the Big Ten. But when I was younger, the Big Ten at the time was like the place to be, the conference to be at, and I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to be around girls who were great, and girls who would make me better. And so I happen to love Michigan State. The girls, I still have so many best friends from when I was there. And once I got there, I developed and got to a place that I was like, I feel like I can get more out of myself. And so that's what kind of led me to transfer. And Wisconsin fit the bill with everything, with the girls, with the coaches, and with how much I knew they were going to pour into me. And so once I transferred there again, like just grew faster than I had anticipated and was just pushing that and pushing the limits that I knew I could reach. And that's led me here, which, being a Badger was probably the best decision that I could have made for my college career for sure.
But what's like one of your best like highlight moments from being a Badger?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. One that I really remember was this year actually playing against Texas A&M. That game was one of the most fun games. Like I've had a lot of really fun games that are like close, that are just fun to play in because it's just a gritty match. But the Texas A&M team was Logan Ludnecki. She was insane. She was cutting us up on the right side. Like, it was just so much fun because it was really tit for tat and it was close at the end of the game. And to get to experience that with the group of freshmen that are here and these girls for the last year was something that was really fun. And it was a long match and it was grueling and we pulled it out in the end. But I just think those long matches are the ones that you really remember, and getting through the highs and lows are something that's just so fun.
No, I was gonna play at Penn State like way back in the day. I was a recruited walk-on back in '04. I'm old. But I ended up not going. I went to NYU Film, so like that's a whole other story. But
I was about 2 at that time. Just
yeah.
That's crazy. That was too.
Makes me feel super old. Thanks,
Thanks
Sarah.
for the reminder.
that one's on me.
It's okay. I've accepted it. I'm proud to be my age. Because now
You
I can
look
live.
fantastic.
Well, thank you.
For sure.
I can live vicariously through you ladies and like what you've done, and I'm like, oh my god, they're so amazing. But I just remember like when I went to play, like this idea of being a student athlete seemed like really cool. And then when I went to college and I was just a student, I was like, how in the world would I do this? So like both of you experienced this student athlete at intense schools, intense programs, very good schools educationally too. But now you're going from that to this pro level where your focus is like solely volleyball. Now Khat's been out of it for a while now, so I feel like you've adjusted, but like Sarah, since you are so new, like you literally finished your season a few weeks ago and now you're here. Like what's that transition like?
It's been weird. I feel like I'm on like a long like travel USA trip where you're just like constantly playing volleyball and you don't really have anything else to do. And I was even talking with Lexi about it last night. It's like you're trying to figure out what to do with all this time because like I go to the gym for the entire morning, get home at like 2 o'clock, and I'll cook lunch and I'll cook dinner, and then I'm like, all right, I need to find a hobby because I don't have anything to do
Exactly.
with my life. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't know. I can, watch film, but, I'm not going to spend 6 hours watching film. Like, I'll
Yeah.
spend an hour, but, it's been a lot of trying to figure out. I'm living alone for the first time. So I'm even like,
Exactly.
okay, I need to be better about like going and texting people and like trying to like
No, living
socialize a
your
little bit
life. No,
more.
living your life is what you're supposed to be doing. Like having experiences you're supposed to be doing. 100%.
I'm like, I got to figure out what I want to do, what those experiences are. Like, I just got to
Mhm.
do it. So it's definitely been an adjustment, but it's, something that I've loved because I've loved school. It's great, but I'm glad that I don't have to do that part anymore. Like, I can fully be volleyball and fully invested and do all the recovery that I want and all that stuff and focus on nutrition and all that, those good areas. But it's definitely been an adjustment, but I feel like I'm finally getting into like a groove with that kind of stuff for sure.
Kat, do you remember your first hobby when you first went pro?
Sleeping for sure. I got
Yeah.
lots of rest, lots of rest. I think it's also just really important to like fill that space because what happens is volleyball becomes like this main focus, and instead of like now you have so
Hmm.
much time, you don't want volleyball to take up more of that time that you have
Yeah,
free. Like spend that time, obviously, like I said, having those experiences and getting to know yourself and doing things that maybe you didn't have time for, like being able to actually go to a coffee shop and have your coffee and not reading a book and just being there in that moment. I think it's like
yeah.
super important. So like, yeah, I slept. Sleeping was my main thing. I was like, 6 a.m. is done. What? No study hall? What? Class is finished? I'm out of here. Like, nap time. So, yeah.
What do you like to do now in your spare time? Have you figured it out yet?
Oh, not really. We're getting there. I'm trying to figure out those little things. I do like reading, but I can't do it for that long. Like I'm like I need to move and like do something, but I don't want to do all that stuff. So I have not figured that part
Hey,
out yet.
doing
We'll get
nothing is
there.
something. Doing nothing is
It's
something. It
fair.
definitely, like,
That's
seriously,
fair.
being still is good, because you're so used to, like, ripping and running around
Oh
your
my
brain,
gosh.
your
Yeah,
body. Like, doing nothing is helping you, actually. So I
for
would really just
sure.
fall into that as much as you can, for sure.
Oh my gosh. That is definitely that's something that's really nice. Like
Yeah,
I
don't feel
can
bad
be
about it.
fully in. Okay,
Don't feel
good.
bad
Because
about it.
I'm like everyone asks me and I'm like, I cook. That's like all
No,
I got right now.
do not feel bad about it.
Okay, good.
Cooking's pretty good though, and it can be like meditative. What do you like to
Hmm.
cook?
I'm big on like chicken thighs, rice, and like a veggie. Like I don't stray from that too much. I'm trying to get a little more outside of that, but I just, different spices every time and then we're good. But I do enjoy whether it's baking like banana bread or something like that too, little snacks. I just feel a lot better when I cook at home instead of eating out all the time.
Hmm.
So that's what I've tried to hone in on a little more.
Good for you. Kat, do you have any advice?
For cooking?
No, well, for cooking,
I
but
was
also
like,
for
cooking is
for
what
just
I
like
do.
cooking hobbies, life
Anything,
as a
right?
professional
That's
volleyball
it.
Whatever
player.
route you
You
want to
made
take
it.
that.
I got you. No, honestly, just going back to what I said before, like, just spending the time that you have now for really just kind of to focus on you a little bit more and seeing what it is that you like to do outside of volleyball and getting to know Sarah as, living alone and this adult life you're about to start living and stuff. So I think
Yeah.
what you're doing is great and don't think you have to do anything more. I think volleyball is amazing and focus on being in the gym and the things you can learn from other players and just, like I said, focusing on you as well and finding out who Sarah is at this time. It's a great thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
And actually, Sarah, now that you are a professional volleyball player, like seeing the young, like I was gonna say young students, but like the young athletes, the club players out in the stands, like cheering for you. I mean, you saw that at Wisconsin too, but like now knowing that you are a professional athlete, what's that like for you?
It's crazy. I mean, we have our jerseys, like the shirts that they sell, and they were all like, "You're sold out. Like we have to order more." And to know that like I have that big of an impact on, little girls is something that I take very seriously. Like I want those girls to be able to look up to me and know that you're gonna have to work for what you want. You're gonna have to have integrity. You're gonna have to be humble. Like all of those things so that they can find what they love and they can do that to the best of their ability. And it's something that like I just absolutely love. After the game, when I get to, sit there and sign all the things from these girls and I get a whole bunch of the bracelets and stuff, to know that I have that big of an impact is just, it really makes me happy because, when I was younger, college volleyball wasn't as in the eye as it is now. Professional volleyball wasn't even a thing in the United States. So to know that I have that much of an impact is just, it's crazy, but I love it. And I love every time someone comes up to me and says, "We love watching you play. Like, you inspire me." Like that, every time he makes my day. It absolutely never gets old.
That's so
That's really cool. Yeah.
sweet. I love that you get friendship bracelets. Do you give any
It's
out?
so cute.
Yeah, where's mine
I
at?
Yeah, I
gotta
want to
start
Sarah
making.
bracelet
Maybe that could be
bracelet.
my hobby.
Friendship bracelet.
Yeah, I don't have one, so
Like,
when you make one, I'm ready.
I'm a fan now, so I'm gonna need one
Me
too.
too. Let's go.
Maybe that could be my new hobby. I just start making friendship
Yeah,
bracelets.
no, seriously, I'll take one. I'm gonna take it.
I love that. Yes, that can be the new hobby. It's a perfect hobby to get into.
It's great. It's great. I'll have to make a lot though. Give them out to everyone. Everyone get one.
Amazing. Well, Sarah, we're so thankful for like you being in this league and being part of it and for making an impact for these girls and for like everyone else, because I feel like volleyball is growing. People are starting to pay more attention, and it's people like you who help the college space, like Khat and Chiaka and like Jordan Larson going back to, because Jordan's my age, going back to like our age, like, you know, this trajectory, like seeing all of these girls and who've made volleyball what it is, and you guys are still continuing it, is just awesome to see. And we're so happy that you're part of this league and that you like came straight from Wisconsin and you're here and you're one of the college six.
The love six. I love it. We have a little group chat together and we're like, hey guys, how we doing?
That's so cute.
That's so adorable.
I love it. It was the perfect little thing, and I couldn't have asked for a better send off into the professional side of things, for sure.
Amazing.
Well, Sarah, it's been honestly really good to meet you, and like now I know you. Now I'm like, okay, we're friends. That's when I see you next time. I'm gonna give you a hug and be like, hey, like I
Hey,
said
girl.
before, you're doing so well and so gracefully, and it's so awesome to hear your passion behind just knowing who you are and feeding into the athlete that you are and wanting to help the young ones that are after you and that kind of thing. And I think that's really beautiful, and that has just honestly for me, like when I see you, I just want to give you like a big hug now because I'm like, she's so cute, she's so sweet, so you're awesome. Just keep killing it, girl.
Oh, well, thank you. You guys have been awesome. I always love doing all this stuff because again, like the volleyball world is so small, and like getting to talk and chat with everyone is honestly one of my favorite parts. So thank you guys too for inviting me and having me on here for sure.
Of course, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck this season. Although I know you and Khat are going to be playing against each other, so I don't know if Khat's going to say best of luck.
I'll say best of luck.
Best of luck. Once we get on the court, though.
Yeah, right.
All right, watch out. Okay.
Well, thanks, Sarah. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Anytime. Thank you guys.
We are back, and we are here with Love Austin's Chiaka Ogbogu. Chiaka is a Texas native who led her high school to 2 state championships and was named the 2012 Gatorade Texas Player of the Year. She then took her talents to the University of Texas, where she was a 3-time first-team All-American. She's also won 2 Olympic medals, a gold at Tokyo in 2020 and a silver at Paris in 2024. Professionally, she's played for some of the most dominant club teams in the world, winning the Polish Cup, Italian Super Cup, FIVB Volleyball Club World Championship, Turkish Super Cup, and Champions League, while being named Best Middle Blocker at the 2022 World Club Championship. Chiaka is a badass, basically. Now she's back playing in Texas for Love Austin. Chiaka, welcome to Serving Pancakes.
Woo! Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be a guest today.
So excited to have you. You obviously know my co-host, Khat Bell.
Yes, very, very well. Not for her.
Snap, snap, snap. How well have you two, like, how long have you two known each other?
Yeah, so my freshman year, Khat was a junior. So we got to play together 2 years and then have obviously stayed in touch and been friends throughout the years. Khat was like our big mama in college. And I feel like just helped us like navigate college as stressful and as chaotic as like the whole coming of age thing is. I felt like she was a really good kind of like mentor, role model, big sister to help us through that transition. And then I know we've just been friends ever since.
Yeah,
and then
we've just been friends
to
ever
be
since.
teammates again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Khat, did you get to be like the big mama and like big sister character when it came to Love Austin too?
I think it was a role didn't think at first was going to be presented to me, and then as things have kind of progressed on, I think it's a role that I'm like just taking in on my own. I think just trying to be the big sister and help people through their stuff like mentally, because there's like so many things going on within the league and on our team as well. So just trying to make sure everyone's in a really good positive headspace for the most part, and just make sure the gym environment is still like good and everyone's having a good time at our best we can, and then just enjoying each other's time. So yeah.
Love it. Now, Chiaka, you're a founding athlete of Love. What made you get into this league? What made you want to be part of it in that capacity?
Yeah, I mean, I credit a lot of like my national team teammates because they were the first ones to kind of like jump ship, so to speak, of like the whole overseas journey. And they've been talking my ear off for the past like 2, 3 years about it. Obviously skeptical at first because it's new. It hasn't really been done at this level yet. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to commit yet, but just seeing all of them take that leap. And honestly, Khat, I remember getting on the phone with Khat one day. I was in Turkey driving. I'm talking to Khat and I'm like, but I don't know. Like, there's obviously these opportunities overseas. And at the time, that's all you see. So it's really hard to envision what life would look like outside of that. Like, that was my new normal. But just having someone like her in my ear of like, you get to play at home, your family and friends get to watch you. Like, also outside of volleyball, we understand this sport doesn't last forever. So it gives us another opportunity to kind of like see what else is out there. So once that was presented and then the idea of a founding athlete, like I know I want to stay involved in sports in some capacity. So it was a really cool opportunity to kind of see like how the league is unfolding and like kind of play a little bit of a role in that. Because overseas, that's
You have
definitely
no
not
say
the
so.
case. You have zero say so. What it is law. So it's been really cool to kind of like have like a little bit of a role in like how all of this is, developing.
Did you have a role in getting Khat on your team?
I
I feel
was
like
on
she
the
had a
team
role
before
in
her.
me.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Let's get
that's why I talked to her and she was like, come on, T.
I was like, come to
you
me
know
in
what you're
Austin
waiting
back
for.
in 2013. I was
Right.
like, you
Literally
get to play
running
volleyball
back.
and have a good time, like get back at home, and just live
Mhm.
a good life. Or I was like, almost like playing like if we were guys, the NBA, NFL, being able to play a pro sport that we love and making money that we're making and be at home and be able to take those advantages, So I was like, girl, come on.
Yeah, she definitely recruited me, I would say.
Wow, I love it. A
Mhm.
big sister again right there.
Right.
Well, you got to play your first serve in Austin this past week. What was it like coming full circle and being back in Austin, except now as a pro?
I know. It's honestly, it was really emotional just because, like, I mean, Kat, I think you saw her. There were people who I remember from my freshman year at Texas who were like either season ticket holders or like people who would be in the VIP seats who are now sitting at our game as a pro. So for me, it just felt like a very full circle moment.
Yeah.
There are people who have been in there who have watched us grow and struggle and get better and have followed our careers past Texas. So for them to be in that room with us, like, it almost felt like this was for them too. Like how
Yeah.
cool that they get to continue to be a part of our story. So it was emotional. Obviously, my family and friends were there. I had family and friends who traveled from Dallas just for that match that day, and now that's a possibility. People who haven't seen me play since college.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to kind of connect with them too. But I think overall, just emotional.
That's so cool that like you remember those people from when you used to play.
Yeah.
I mean,
When I say these people are at every game, like,
sitting front row. Like it's almost like she always like sat behind the service line. She was sitting behind the service line. Only thing that changed was the gym environment and the color of what she was wearing.
And
she
the
was
color,
wearing purple.
I know.
She was wearing
Not
purple
seeing
instead
her
of burnt orange.
was
Mhm.
wild.
Yeah.
But even then, like, there's still burnt orange in the audience. And you can
Exactly,
tell, like, it's the same people who have been keeping up with our journeys since we were freshmen.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I saw head coach Jared Elliott was also there. Did he feel like kind of like a proud papa seeing like all these players that he used to coach all together now on one team?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he feels a little bit like, those are my girls.
He low-key be kind of coaching on the sideline a little bit too. Like he like, make sure you. I'm like,
really?
Yeah,
Right.
he was saying like little little things.
Right, security. I'm sure. No, but he also right. I'm joking. I love that. He also had his team there too, and I remember they were behind our bench too. So that was a really cool moment, just like kind of getting to hear them as we're like coming by again, like grabbing water or something. Like they were cheering us on too. So that was really cute.
Oh, that's so fun. And then you guys have like 9 Texas alums on your team, right? Or is it 8, 9?
9.
Yeah, all from like different. I mean, you got Asia O'Neal and Logan Eggleston who just graduated basically, and then like you guys. What's it like playing with this array of different ages, but all knowing that you are all Longhorns?
Right. I mean, it's really cool because obviously not all of us have played together, but we have a lot of like shared experiences. Like it's been essentially the same staff, give or take 1 or 2 people at Texas for the past 15 years. So we've all played for Jarrett. we've had Eric in the program, like Deanne, like Don, like people who are the staple of Texas volleyball are still there. So
Yeah,
it's been really cool to kind of like share stories and kind of see how
exactly.
they line up. And then also it's just like a genuine base understanding. Like at Texas, I feel like we took a lot of pride in being there and working hard and having a really good work ethic and like kind of being dogs. And I feel like it's kind of the same mentality across the board. Like I know someone who played at Texas, like they're a dog. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna ride for you, they're gonna play hard, they're gonna fight hard. And I know I can expect that each and every time from like a former like alum.
And it's also like really cool to see be in the gym with them too, because you can also tell that like they genuinely like look up to us just the same way how they did when they were in high school or when we were in college, even though we're all at the same level right now too. So being able to be like a mentor for them and helping them like obviously get their career up running and going in the pro league has been a great experience for us as well. So
I agree. Mm-hmm.
What's it like now being like this mentor figure? We talked to Sarah Franklin about it, but what's it like to be a mentor for these young girls that are playing club or who are in college right now at Texas? Like knowing that they can see you in the United States. Like, what's it feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, Kat spoke to this a little bit, but it's really interesting now with this emergence of like the pro league in America is most of them won't get that experience overseas. And Kat can probably agree to this. I feel like that's where you grow up very quickly and you have no choice but to. So it's cool kind of like you don't have to feel the burden that we did. So let's share what information we had so you can kind of close that gap a little bit quicker because there's a huge learning curve overseas and professionally across the board. And it's obviously harder to understand when you're here, but it's really cool that we have like so many people who are experienced who can help like translate and share that information. So, you know, it's an easier transition for them because it's not easy, I think.
yeah.
But
Also just
in general, I feel like they've been good receiving it too.
Yeah, but just like kind of picking your battles, you know, like don't complain about stuff you should not even be complaining about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like let's
You
just
don't
say, for
even
example,
know.
like yeah, like oh, there's no ice in my water. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Like
wait, sometimes it's the trenches overseas.
yeah, it's
everything.
like, you know,
yeah, you gotta.
I don't eat pasta, or this is not the food that I want, or it could be anything. It's almost like you don't know. Like I was in China for a while. That's the trenches. You don't know. You don't know.
Trenches, right. And if you ask for certain things overseas, they're looking at you sideways. So
yeah.
yeah.
When you say ask for things, do you mean like in what regard? Like asking for like a good weight room or asking for just like a specific meal? Like what?
Like physical conditioning wise abroad is completely different as it is completely different here in the States. You know, like we have a lot more, I wouldn't say knowledge, but as far as like, you know, facilities and like different like weight programs and weights, all these different machines and stuff. And as well as like abroad, they may not have as much as what we have over here. So they're kind of compensating with doing like more band activity and that kind of stuff too. So you can tell as far as like athletic wise, muscle mass where you're abroad is a lot different than when you're here, as well as like training, PTs. Treatment over there is a lot different than it is over here. Like we have more essential stuff that we have a lot more access to things. And over there, if something's hurting, it's more of like massage, rub you down. That's good. But over here, you're going to do ice therapy, cryo, whatever it may be. You know, it's a different kind of like ball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get the true pro athlete treatment here.
Yeah.
I feel like you hear that with, you know, like the football players, basketball players, and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah.
Like there was times that sometimes you need ice. They don't have ice in the gym. Like,
they don't have ice. Yeah.
Ice your knee
or like
ice your arm.
Machines or any type of like really high tech physical therapy items. Like it's kind of like what you have is kind of what you have to work with and you figure out a way to make it work versus here. I mean, we have a lot of privilege in the States.
Yeah.
Like we have access to a lot of things, whether if we don't specifically have it, there's always somewhere you can go where you can go get it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's definitely not the case in a lot of places overseas.
Wi-Fi can be a thing. Like
really?
no Wi-Fi in your apartment.
Right.
A car is supposed to have it in your contract, but they haven't given you a car yet and it's been a month and a half, you know, like it can be.
Or even your apartment. You can get there and your apartment's not ready and you're
be in a hotel for 2 weeks.
For months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seen that too. Mm-hmm.
Well, now you get the privilege, like you're home and your friends are here and your family's here. Right. I feel like that's such a huge perk.
There's some people that go abroad and have to work and play volleyball, so it's definitely it's a luxury here. I ain't never done that. She ain't never done that. But there's leagues that like and teams that have players that come abroad, and you're working for their shop selling T-shirts and playing on their team to help compensate for your salary. Like it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're like
wow.
working for the main sponsor of the
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
Wow. Well, now that you're in the States and you do have like this quote luxury of, having what you need, having your family and friends close by, like what are you doing with your time, Chiaka? Like what's
I
free off the
know.
court volleyball, Chiaka? Like
That is a great question. I realize I need to find myself some more hobbies because I now have more time than I like have ever had, I feel like. But this is kind of like one of the main reasons why I wanted to play in the States again was to kind of like establish that part of myself. I feel like when you're overseas, it's so easy to have this tunnel vision of just being focused on volleyball because you don't really have much outside of that to like stimulate your brain or anything. But it's been really fun just trying to envision like, okay, what would I want my future to look like if volleyball wasn't the case? And
Hmm.
with this new league and with women's sports taking off, like I've been really excited about the possibilities of like what like ownership and management and all of that stuff looks like from like the back end. Like I see all these boss women doing it and like the W being owners, being GMs, being things like that. So that's been something that, I've been trying to like poke my hand in a little bit just to see what that would look like.
I think
mm.
that's something that also arranged. Because with Sarah, I was telling her, she said she has this free time. I'm like, yeah, like resting and just kind of like being able just to focus on volleyball and not create too
Mhm.
much space that volleyball is consuming everything, but being able to
For
like
sure.
enjoy your free time, enjoy your life outside of school and just focus
Yes.
on volleyball. But for us, it's like, okay, well, we've been doing this for so long. What am I
Different
doing out?
timing.
It's a
Yes.
different timing. It's a different process for us. Okay, well,
Hmm.
my free time now, I'm focusing more on, okay, well, transitioning out of volleyball, like she said, what that looks like, post volleyball, and if volleyball wasn't a thing in her life right now. So I think depending on your
Yeah.
age and when you're coming in and when you're leaving out, definitely depends on what you're doing in your free time.
Right. That's so true. Because I think as like a rookie, like you're really just thinking survival. In your
Yeah,
first season,
yeah,
you're
you're
like, I'm
like,
getting home, I'm sitting my butt on this couch, I'm watching my Netflix, and I'm just trying to like unwind from the day. But
yeah,
once you get used to it, like you start to think like, okay, like now that I've been comfortable enough to know like what I need and when, I can now like prioritize my time to dedicate to like hobbies or things I'm interested in or things like that. But it depends on where you are in your career for sure.
100%.
Now, I know that also when you're overseas, that you guys don't really get to celebrate the holidays with your family
Mm.
because you're traveling and living in another country and usually another continent. But did you go to Nigeria for Christmas this year?
I did. I did. I was in Lagos for something called Dirty December, is what they call it over there. It's
Oh.
like a play off the word dirty, but it's nothing really dirty about it. It's basically just like everyone comes home for the holidays. So you have a bunch of like Nigerian like natives or first gen who live all over the world, but like come back home for the holidays. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of family members, a lot of like random pop up concerts, festivals, food. But I was there for a short amount of time, but it was really cool to be back.
That sounds so cool. Have you ever been to Nigeria?
Yeah, actually, I got to go last 2019 when I was playing in Italy. We got a week off.
Oh.
Myself and my teammate at the time, Paolo Ghana, who's also Nigerian, we both went, but different areas. But this is my first time, I feel like, being in Lagos, which is like the main city, as an adult. So it was really cool.
That's awesome. Were your parents like athletes or into volleyball when they lived in Nigeria, or was volleyball like a
Oh, not at all.
brand new thing for like your family when you started to play?
Very brand new for sure. I mean, my dad claims he plays soccer. I don't know about that.
There's
My
no
mom was
record. There's no
right,
record.
literally no record, no witnesses. My mom's definitely not an athlete either. So sports is very much new to them, but just it's funny now, like seeing how much they've just like adapted it to their life. Like my dad watches volleyball more than me now. Like
Mhm.
he's the one who keeps me updated with stuff. Like he's still watching games overseas. He watches all the love matches. He'll be like, "Oh, I saw Madison Omaha play. Like this person played really well." So it's funny to see now like how much they're like addicted to watching volleyball.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that your parents are so into it.
Hmm. Mainly
when
my dad. He keeps up.
when you first started to play, were they like 100% like all in, or were they questioning like what is this athlete sport volleyball thing?
Right. I think at first, like most kids, it's just like an extracurricular activity. But I think with each stage, like they saw, okay, this is also a way you can help pay for school. Okay, cool. And then once I wanted to go pro, they're like, we don't know how you can make a living off of that, but like, let's see. And so with each stage, they've kind of seen like, okay, this is something that has like longevity. You can support yourself, whether it was school, now it's a professional, like this is my full-time career. So obviously there were a lot of questions and like, what are you doing along the way? But I mean, it's worked out thus far.
What about like, the questions maybe you have for yourself? Like, what are you doing when things are kind of tough? Like, what was some of the advice that maybe your parents were giving you in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, their biggest thing was like, you at the end of the day want to be okay with the decisions that you make, even if it doesn't pan out the way you think it's going to. So like, there were moments where I was like questioning in the trenches in Poland, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I in this foreign country struggling? I'm not the happiest right now in volleyball. You know, it's not fun. But at the end of the day, like, would I be okay even if I failed in this moment? For, like, with taking this step? Yes, I would. Because in that moment, I wouldn't be spending the rest of my life wondering what if. Like, what if I would have gone overseas? Where could that have taken me? So I think that was their biggest piece of advice. Like, hey, you made this decision. Like, you're okay with failing, even if it's this decision, because you know you at least tried.
Yeah.
I feel like that failure or the fear to fail is like something that a lot of people are afraid to do, which makes sense. I mean, you don't want to look like a failure, but I also feel like if you don't do it, you're going to regret your decision in the end.
Right. And it's easier to say that than to experience it, obviously, because when you're in it, you're like, nah, I'm really not trying to do all this. I'm struggling. Like, I don't want to look stupid. It's the fear of all of that. But obviously, as you get older and you just start to mature, like, that's been my biggest thing that I've just been trying to be okay with. Like, I have to be okay with the decisions I'm making, regardless of the result.
I think also with failure, I think as athletes, we look too much far as like from other people's perspective instead of looking at failure from our perspective. So the fear of failure doesn't come really stem from us. It comes from the outside perspective. Like, oh yeah, I'm not playing well, so people are going to think this about me, or I'm not starting, people think this way about me. But like she said, with growing maturity, you turn to learn how to kind of turn that part off about it and focus on, okay, what am I feeling? How am I feeling about this? And getting myself out of the situation. So 100%.
Yeah. And I think that comes with advice too. Like, as much as my parents tried to like help me through this process, like they've never been a pro athlete, especially in this space. So you also can't let other people's fear and projections come onto you. You know, they're doing their best to support you and to help you, but at the end of the day, like, you're the only person going through this journey. So you can't expect other people to fully understand as well.
100%.
For sure. I feel like it's such a good lesson, just, you know, not just for people who want to play professional sports, but just like in life in general, just going out there and doing that. But bringing it back to volleyball in League One, you know, the season's young, right? We just finished week 2. Week 3 is going to be starting. We got Love Classic coming up in a few weeks. But, you know, what are you excited to see about how this league progresses and how the season progresses?
Oh, I mean, I'm excited to see like how good the volleyball can get. One, like, we've already seen it now. Everybody is lost at this point. Like, there are no undefeated teams, and it's funny because what you think is going to happen is often not what is actually going to happen. Like, you may think you have an idea of how a team is because they beat someone 3-0, and then the next night they're losing 3-0. Like, it really, the talent level is so even in this league that every night is kind of like a question mark, which is exciting because I mean, Khat, you've played in leagues like that where, okay, you're playing like the last place team in the league, and you already know what it is.
Yeah, like, I'm not starting today. The second string is going.
Right, we chilling. My hair might be down. Right, right. I'm going from the jersey to my clothes to dinner. Like, it's not even
I
a break.
got to take a shower.
Right, exactly.
I'm not sweating tonight. Yeah,
you know, and that's not the case here, which a lot of us aren't used to, like, having every single time we step on the court. It's going to be high level. It's going to be intense. So I'm excited to see how much better it gets when teams like have a little bit more time to create that chemistry. And then I'm excited to see the fans. Like, Austin showed out for us. Really, really grateful for that. I think Omaha is going to be lit. We're going to be there for a fun game. It's going to be rocking. And I hope it is, honestly.
Oh, it's going to be. It's going to be.
Like, bring your worst. Like, I hope it is. I think that's just going to help this league and help the sport. And it was fun to watch the Madison crowds too. So I'm just excited to see, with more people catching on to what's going on, like how much bigger this gets from like a fan perspective.
What's funny is Sarah was on here and she was like, yeah, you know, you got to play, you know, we're saying like we're friends now and having a good chat. And she's like, yeah, but kind of Madison, you know, on the court. I'm like, And I said, oh, be careful. I said,
Right.
don't do that.
You don't know who you're talking to. Right.
You don't know.
They go low, I go lower.
You don't know.
Right.
Okay, girl.
Right. It's all cute now. But that's what's fun. And I hope there's more of that too, honestly.
Yeah.
There's more a little bit like spiciness. Like we were watching last night too, and it looked like it was getting spicy. But I personally
spicy.
like watching sports for that. So I hope it continues to kind of get competitive and fun and spicy. And at the end of the day, like we're all cool, but on the court it's a different game.
100%.
Oh yeah, step on that court is game face on, competition, win or lose, and we're planning to win, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, Chiaka, I mean, we could talk to you for hours, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come on Serving Pancakes, for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your story, because so many people look up to you, and you are an amazing player and have done so much for the sport and are still doing so much for the sport. And can't wait to see you as a GM or president, Chiaka Ogbogu, at some point.
Chiaka for president. Do y'all know?
I like president. Right.
Do y'all know
You don't know? She owns the club.
Over there. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. We got to do this more.
Thanks for watching Serving Pancakes. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. You can also listen to the podcast version on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.